First, I think today we had a very lethargic performance, which got us worried from the beginning of the match. But fortunately, we got a goal from Musa. After that, we got some very good chances on breaks where I think we could have capitalized better. But unfortunately, because we did not take those chances, even at halftime, we had a very big fight in the change room that we seem to look like a team that thinks we have already won the match. And I'm never comfortable with a 1-0 lead, more especially against teams that are playing a counter-attacking game, because anything will always happen behind the defense. There can be one moment of a lapse of concentration in your rest defense, or you don't break the press when you need to break the press, and they capitalize on that. But I must say, we were very concerned because we could see the intensity of the game was not like what we are used to. Probably the team has had too many games. One must also accept that. And we maybe have taken things for granted that it's going to be an easy game. Players take some, and I've always been talking throughout the week that throughout the world, it is very normal for a team that is at the bottom of the league to get points from a team that is on top of the league. So it's important that we fight very hard not to be part of those statistics. Very unfortunate for us to not to win the match, because to be honest, in as much as Black Leopards ended up getting the point, but they did not pose much of a threat in our box. And we did get a lot of chances first half where we could have buried the match, maybe refreshed the team at that time, but unfortunately it was just not to be. It was very unfortunate, but we have to take it on the chin and move on.
Is it a reality of football, these results that we're seeing? I think Amazulu were the only team in the top 8, for example, to get a victory. Lots of draws this weekend.
Yeah, many times I think we just ask for these draws, because I don't think this is a match that we should have drawn. If you look at the quality of the chances that we got first half, I think we could have buried this game. Even in the second half, in the break that Tapelo had, we could have easily scored from those situations. We did have some good chances that we could have made the game to look differently, but I would not want to talk about other draws because I did not see how the teams performed and all that. But if you look at this match, the number of chances we created and the number of moments we were in their final third, we should have done better.
Coach Tapang from Sokaladuma. I just wanted some sort of clarity around the captaincy at Sundowns. Who is vice captain, and is it a case of rotating the armband? At the moment, I see Musa has been captaining, I think, the last 2 games, if I'm not mistaken.
Now, Sundowns captain is Kekan. And we don't have any vice or whatever. We just make a call when we feel it's necessary. We've had Ricardo a lot. Now Ricardo is out. We could easily have Dennis as a captain, but Dennis is always coming from far. We are trying to save him from all these runs to the referee and all that, because we want him to work a little bit more economically and focus on what is expected of him. But the truth of the matter is the captain of this club is still Kekan.
If I'm not mistaken, you have 2-3 games behind schedule. I'd like to know from you, sir, how do you prefer it? Do you prefer to be ahead of the schedule, or this is the status quo is fine with you right now? Thank you.
Now, the status quo of being ahead or behind is not always the best for any team. You always want to be within the pack and play the same number of games, but we understand our circumstances. We cannot blame the league. We know we've had far too many matches. Maybe it's the same thing that is still going to happen to Pirates as well, because Pirates has only played 2 matches in the group stages. We have played 4. So already that says they will also be in the same scenario where they will have to catch up somewhere. So the truth of the matter is it's always preferable to play the same number of games with everybody else because when you're playing a game, either playing for a result because you are under pressure, the anxiety levels are always going to cause problems. And at times when you have played a game and you did not get the results and other people are still coming, it's not always right. So the ideal situation for any team and any coach would be to have the same number of games with everybody else in the league.
Good evening, Coach. Just on your target on beating your previous highest number of points attained, 71 points. Today, after 18 matches, you've just crossed the 40-point mark. Looking into the next 12 matches, would you say you are still on course for this? And especially also looking at the other competitions that you are still involved in.
If you look at the number of points that are still available, when it's still mathematically possible, you always hope for it. But we're not always chasing records. We would love to achieve something better than what we have achieved in the past. But more than anything else, we want to win. We want to win the league. We want to be ahead of everybody else. And to be honest, the boys have done well thus far. We cannot falter them. But the truth of the matter is we can still do better than what we have done. And we are hopeful that come the period after the FIFA break, because to a certain extent, one feels that the team has played far too many matches in a very short space of time. The level of sharpness from some of our key players was not at the level that one would have expected. And it's always difficult to see that before the match is played. So on the hindsight, you will always say, hey, maybe you should rest them. But when you rest players, then you are saying you are no longer taking the opposition that you are playing against very seriously. So it's always a catch-22 situation. But the truth of the matter is maybe this break has come in handy for most of our players, though some will be going for the national teams. But we had played far too many matches. From February to now, we've had far too many matches. And I think the outcomes of those matches have been very positive, and we should give credit to the team for that.
Despite today's result, during your time at Sundowns, would you say this is one of the best squads assembled by your technical team? Because from outside it looks perfect. You know, it's balanced. There's a blend of youth and a blend of experience. I'd like to hear from you if this is one of the best squads you've ever assembled. Thank you.
I must say we've had a lot of improvement in our attacking options in particular. I think we've got depth in that space. But if you look at the team of 2016, where we had Keegan, Percy, Kama, Castro, you would still say that attack was very potent. But be that as it may, I think in many positions this time around, we've got sufficient cover. That gives you hope that no matter what happens, you can still be able to play a match without others. But reality now says when you have lost Kenneth and you don't have Peter, things are not the same, you know. And in the past, when you did not have Castro, you had Kama. When you did not have Kama, you had Percy. So, that's why you would always say the other guys that are coming up, Afonso is coming from a long-term injury. We want him to step in quickly. Kif Motupa is showing some very good signs. We expect him to come in quickly. Keletso tries, but he's still young. He's bound to make some mistakes here and there. But one is content with the group we have, and they are working very hard. Very good team spirit, very good commitment to the work, which is one thing that we can commend the most and say everybody is really putting a shoulder to make sure that the team succeeds.